Hello, peoples of the internet. My name is Tyler Pollock, and I'm an Enderman. And this is, I guess, what you call another Megabuild. This is actually an old server of mine that was pretty much only between me and my brother. But this is what I built, and then over here we have a treehouse. Is what he built. I did the majority of the building on the server. And so I did this a while ago, and I just pulled it up on my Minecraft, and I remember being really proud of it, so I figured I'd make a little video on it. So I'll take you through a little walkthrough here. First off, there is a minecart track that runs off to one of the generated villages. So it kind of runs in between the two villages, and also has a nice wide pathway to go with it. So as we come into the city, you see a few little things. First, one of the only little green spaces in the city. I made a small dock area, but the water kept on freezing over, which is really weird since when I started that area, I was not in a snow biome, so it's odd. And here we have what I started the map with, because I originally started the map on survival mode, so this was my little survival area down here with some underground farms and everything, but I eventually switched it over to creative mode, which kind of rendered this place pretty much useless. So let's go back up. Here we have an inn where it goes over the pathway over here, and you have the main desk area, and when you go upstairs you'll find two very small, I like to call them very cozy rooms, though they do have very high ceilings. Over here is just the nether portal. Once again, a little bit of green space here, and then the back of the tunnel underneath the inn is right over here. I'll start with the buildings over here. This building over here was one of the later buildings I did, and I was really running out of ideas of what to build for, and I was just kind of building just to build because I was bored. And it ended up being kind of like a testing area for like redstone and stuff like that. So that way if I TNT in here and it blew up, it's all obsidian, so nothing will be harmed, and the building will stay pretty much intact. And it has a little tower up there, but nothing too elaborate. Then all the buildings connect together, but I'll go outside so you can see the fronts of the buildings. Over here we have the court building, and we'll fly up so you can see the top of the court building. The court building actually kind of looks like a backwards church. This was in a really big church phase for me, where everything I built just kind of looked like a church. But it ended up working for the purposes of a court pretty well. So when you first come into the building, you have this little main lobby area with a tower and some little areas along the side. And there's also a way to get up to the balcony, but we'll go on the bottom floor here. So there's torches leading up to the judge's stand with benches, witness bench here. And then you have down here, it leads down to the holding cells for where they're holding the prisoners before they get tried on court, when they are still technically innocent. There's also a door on this side to where you can actually go up into the judge's area and check that out. And then here's the balcony area. You see I did some, I wouldn't really call it intricate, but some woodwork up there in order to liven up the ceiling and make it hopefully not as modern churchy. It is a little bit more early English church, but apparently everything I do looks like a church. I will skip this building for a moment, and here's the actual church that I made. And this was the first one I built in creative mode. And I thought, oh, I'll just make this small little city, and then the church will be the big item in the city. And as you can tell, the city quite outgrew the church. The church kind of seems a little minuscule now. But we'll go inside the church. It's pretty small. This part of the church was derived by the early Christian churches. They had the columns that kind of resembled like a Greek or a Roman columns outside of them, the early Christian ones. You actually can see something sort of similar like that at the Vatican. They have one of those, but slightly on a bigger scale. So this is a very small area. A little bit of ribbing on the roof, but other than that, details are not really here. A little bit of a raised stage for the pastor. We'll go back to the building that I skipped earlier. And this building's a little awkward because it kind of is built where the front is a corner. And so you come in and everything's just a little off looking. Has a major fireplace here. This is one of my first attempts at doing some redstone stairs, and it ended up looking alright, I think. So you can go up to the different levels. The second level doesn't have anything on it, but the third level has this little area which goes to the next building, as well as a library, I believe. Or is this? Nope, the library is downstairs. This is just an empty room. So we'll go downstairs so we can see the library. Here we are in the library. It's one of the most basic libraries you can do. Every Minecraft building has a library in it just because books are already made. And then on the opposite side there is the bedroom, which also has tons of books in it because it's easy decoration. The next building I'll go to is this twin-towered building here, and it's really the most pointless building in existence as there is absolutely nothing inside of it, and I just kind of wanted something to fill up some space. Never really got around to figuring out what I could actually put in there. Alright, and then that brings us to the last building, which is actually the largest building. As you can see, it's a pretty big L-shaped building. It went to the height limit that I could build at the time, which I can't remember exactly what the height limit was back then, but it's been raised since. And so it's a rather large building. It was one of those where you just kind of keep on adding on to it. You never stop building walls, but eventually it catches up to you when you realize you have absolutely nothing to put inside them. So that down there is the hallway that leads to the other empty building. And so yeah, this part of the building is pretty much empty. Over on the right here we have another very large space that I decided to put a little tiny building in, which was filled with like a cauldron, chests, and pretty much everything you can put in here for decoration besides paintings. And for some reason back then I was not using paintings at all. And it kind of frustrates me now because everything just looks really boring. So then over here, this little area down here, it's just a bunch of stairs that will lead you up to the other building, this building. And then get back here. And then the main focus of this building is really the tower. And the tower goes all the way up to the height limit. And the part that I really like about the tower is I didn't destroy the tower trying to put stairs on the inside, but instead wove the stairs around the outside, then just put kind of like guided paths along the middle. And believe it or not, the inspiration from that was Harry Potter. In the first Harry Potter movie, when you first see all the moving stairs, I thought it looked really cool, so I figured I could try to do something similar with that. So once you reach the top of the main tower, you can see the roof there. There's this little secondary tower that's really just to go to the height limit and really serves no other purpose. And I think that's pretty much it in here, down here. And that actually may be it for the entire village area. And like I said, I won't show what my brother did because I didn't do that, and if he wants to show that, he can. But so this is what I did, and it needs some updating. Apparently I love stone and wood, and that's pretty much all I used. Trying to vary my builds a little bit more now, but I hope you all enjoyed this, and I'll see you all next time.